Do you get angry when somebody calls you a project manager or a program manager?
I just explain the difference to say, hey, project manager primarily executes, and the product manager works on like defining the problem, defining the solution.
They keep calling me a product owner or project manager or something, on the business side. Core principles remain the same, right? As Vanya was saying, all of the core principles remain the same, but you might spend more time in different buckets of the product
It's very
development life
close to
cycle.
consumer, but your customer is a B2B customer rather than a regular customer. So we need to think from business customer shoes and solve problems. So that's what a B2B product manager does. Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, Everything Product. In this podcast, we talk about latest technology insights and product management concepts. I'm Srinath. I work as a product manager at JP Morgan.
I'm Sid Saladi. I work as a product manager for Best Buy.
Hi everyone.
I wanted us to double click a little bit more into the types of product management. There are various types of product management roles out there. I've seen often people using them interchangeably and few people not understanding pretty well. I think it's very important for any aspiring product managers or viewers out there to have a good understanding so they can figure out which is the right fit for them. For instance, a person who is a data expert probably may need to think about data product management versus a customer facing product management. So just one example. I would like us to go a bit more detail into that. I know there are various types of product management. First probably is a consumer facing product manager, the platform product manager, the data product manager, a technical product manager. There's a growth product manager, different types of product managers. uh, Maybe Sidhu, I'll start with you. Can you help define what a consumer facing product manager would do, and in simple terms?
Yeah. So I think, like, again, right, like, the stages and the roles, everything changes by the size of the company and also the stage of the product. I'd say a consumer facing product manager is more, a holistic role, I'd say. So it's where the product manager basically is trying to understand what the problem is, then ideating on it, solutioning it, then uh, after the execution piece, right, he's involved a lot on the product launch and after activities, right? So this person basically is, after the product is ready, talking to the sales team, trying to uh, give them the right direction on how can they sell this, also providing him with the necessary collateral on how can, all the mass marketing material and collateral so that they can show it to the customers to basically sell the product. And also sometimes a product manager sits with the customers when it's a B2B product, right? He sits in the sales calls to explain the roadmap of the product and what we envision the product to be. So that could be something a consumer facing product manager does. Product manager also partners with marketing, right? So while partnering with marketing, what you do, you basically go and figure out how does the landing page for the product look like, and in the overall website and all the catalog of products, where should this product be. And you also maybe do press releases where you are wordsmithing what the important features are, how can you communicate the value, and you're also defining what the persona is, what the target market is, right? And there's also customer service people. Customer service people have to be educated on what the product is, how to answer the FAQs of the product. If people ask about the features, how do you educate them, right? So that's also something that this product manager
Got it.
does. And also he could go to trade shows to present the product, right? So he sometimes has to be a salesperson selling his product. So I think there's a lot of these things go to market product manager does, I'd say, on a holistic view.
So essentially, a product manager in this case is launching customer facing products who are the real users actually using,
Yeah,
and not like an internal product which is happening everything in the behind, right?
that's right. Yeah.
Maybe funny. I know you worked as a platform product management before. Can you help us? Can you help in defining that for our viewers?
Yeah, I would still say I'm a platform PM, but yeah, definitely. So who would be the right fit for a platform PM, right? Again, every product management role is different. So people who have different traits would be uh, good at a certain product management role. So, for example, let's think of a growth PM, right? So, the growth PM, at least in my opinion, will be primarily focused on how you will be scaling your product. So, if you're thinking about scaling the product, you need to understand a lot about data, or you should be sitting with data like in and out. You might be thinking about how your current customers are doing, crunching numbers with like probably like thousands of customers or even like hundreds of thousands of customers, and then still figuring out what would be the right feature that fits into all of them. Or let's say you're a platform product manager. Let's go into the question that you're asking, right? The people who could be a right fit for this is probably someone who was technical in the past and would like to, let's say, scale the systems, do the integrations, etc. Platform product managers might not be interacting a lot with the front facing customers, but you're actually building the products that are useful for additional teams. Your customer could be a developer, your customer could be a product manager, might be internal or external, but you're building products for them so that they can expand on it. So you will be doing a lot of these things as well. You might be talking to customers to understand the features, and your customers will also expand to, like I said, developers, product managers, and others. And you'll also be crunching data to make sure your systems are good. You're thinking about probably your uptime metrics, reliability metrics, etc., to make sure your system is always up and available for others to build on it, etc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
essentially, you guys are basically building a platform so other people can build services on it or leverage to build features on top of it, something like that. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Core principles remain the same, right? As Vanya was saying, all of the core principles remain the same, but you might spend more time in different buckets of the product development lifecycle.
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like lot of this thing revolves around who is the customer, right? So your customer in Funny's case, probably it's a lot of internal teams. In consumer product manager case, it's like actual customers. And I also wanted to share my experience when I worked as a B2B product manager. It's very close to consumer, but your customer is a B2B customer rather than a regular customer. So we need to think from business customer shoes and solve problems. So that's what a B2B product manager does, in addition to what all you guys just mentioned. Another thing, which in my current role, I'm a technical product manager. So this is a lot technical than what a non-tech or consumer product manager would do. So a technical product manager is someone who has to understand the systems, the design part, and all that stuff, and how you go and scale those systems that can support our products that we build on. Very close to platform product management, but I feel it's a little bit more technical. For instance, one thing we have done is a data modernization efforts across the organization, so we have a cleaner data that can help with recommendations. So just one example. So I mean, so I know there are various types of product management, like, but as Sidhu said, it's kind of the overall theme. The kind of activities are very similar, but the customer varies.
Yeah.
Awesome. I one thing which I also want to cover is I often see the people getting confused with the terms of product management versus a technical program management, project management, program management, and there's so many different terms revolving around. I mean, I think as aspirants, probably they might be seeing all these different types of roles, and when they're doing their job hunt, right? But in order to make sure they are in the right role, they need to understand the differences. So, can we spend some time on discussing the differences? Maybe I'll start with. I think product management we all already discussed. Let's go into a program management. Funny, do you want to share a little insight into what you think a program manager does versus a product manager?
Yeah, absolutely. So start with a very simple difference, right? A product manager is someone who defines what needs to be built. He is the person who understands what a customer needs, and based on that defines what exactly do we want to build so that we can solve that problem. A program manager primarily helps in terms of how you execute it. So how much staffing do you need? Do you have any issues in terms of dependencies? Do you have any issues in terms of timelines? Are there any critical dependencies? And especially when there are multiple teams, probably across multiple locations involved, like how do we make sure all of these teams come together, make sure they have the right engagement, make sure they have the right protocols in place so that there are no delays and stuff. So the program manager helps in all of those aspects. And what he does primarily is help people build what a product manager has defined.
So
Yeah.
they are the executors and product managers are builders.
A simple way to look at all of these careers is all of us are enablers. So a product manager enables an engineer to by telling what we want to build. A program manager enables an engineer by telling that, hey, let's do all of these things so that we can execute it as fast as possible. All of us comes at different angle, but all of us enable a product development.
Got
I
it.
like that term enablers. I'll steal it from you, funny.
All right, Sidhu, can you share to our viewers what a technical program manager would do versus and a product manager we already talked about? Can you
Mhm.
share a bit more insight into technical program management?
Yeah, I would say, it's similar to a program manager, right? So, product management is more strategy, less execution, but program management is most of the time more execution. And when it comes to technical program manager, right? So, I've seen technical program managers, manage a program with multiple portfolios, and each portfolios have multiple products. So, they are basically trying to manage the whole program and trying to figure out is the product outcome which the whole program is expecting delivering in the right time, right quarter, and so on and so forth. So they're trying to also try to remove any roadblocks which happens between different programs, right, different products, different portfolios, and all of these things, right, are managed by a program. So like when you are like setting goals to teams and setting them apart, people go in multiple different directions, right? So there should be somebody who has to oversee all of these things and see if they're going in the right direction. No, same swim lanes, no, and all of that. So program manager keeps account of that, and if anybody's like the execution is going in a different direction, they kind of nudge them to get back into the race, I'd say.
So both program management, technical program management look very similar. Probably
Mm.
technical is for focus, probably on the technical project, something like a migration or building some security, reliability, and that kind of systems and driving that cross-functional programs end to end, probably, right?
Yeah.
One thing which I also been seeing again, not lately a lot, is the project management, which I think will be helpful to clarify as well. Project management. I know it's taking, probably it's not applied to many tech organizations at this point. I mean, I'm not actively seeing those roles, but in general terms, it's just taking a project and go creating a plan and executing it, which is probably more suited for larger projects for which time horizon is pretty high, versus projects that you are or programs you're executing in an agile fashion, where you build iterate, which is not a typical project management is. um I know, funny, you probably in your early in the career, I think you worked as a project manager. Do you want to add anything, any additional insight there?
Yeah. So a very simple definition of project management is project manager is a smaller program manager. Project manager basically looks at individual smaller initiatives, and a program manager looks at a very holistic picture of bigger initiatives together and drives them. Yeah, like you said, I'm not seeing project management roles at all nowadays. And the primary reason is within an agile process, everyone is self-sufficient. So when that is the case, and especially when an initiative is comparatively smaller, you don't need someone who can balance all of those things for you. Rather, a team can manage everything on their own.
Yeah. And I
Yep.
also see a lot of project management roles are being morphed into program managers now. So I've seen a lot of people even change career from project managers into more of program managers. But one thing which people should be cautious about is I've seen on LinkedIn a lot of product management titled roles, but when you look at the description, it's more project management where they're talking about you managing a Gantt chart, a schedule, planning, and all of that, right? So I don't feel that is a product manager's at least job. And if anybody who is like interested more on strategy and want to do product management, why might fall into the trap of just looking at the title and seeing that this is what they'll do, but they'll go there and expect something completely different.
Yeah, and for all the viewers, if anyone is still confused on what is the right, probably the role, or if you need any more clarification on the different types of product managements out there, just comment and we'll get back.
And
Um,
do you get angry when somebody calls you a project manager or a program manager?
No,
I mean,
dude. A funny part was I was talking to someone some time back, and they're not into IT, obviously, and that person called me a production manager. I'm like, okay.
Production. That is even the far distinct. Yeah, a lot of my friends work in IT, but they still don't call me as a product manager. They keep calling me a product owner or project manager or something, on the business side.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't get angry as such, but I just explain the difference to say, hey, project manager primarily executes, and the product manager works on like defining the problem, defining the solution.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, same here. One thing which I think we all are seeing is how it has been evolving. One thing which I've found, especially in India, where product management is relatively new, I think it's been evolving on the last 4 or 5 years tremendously, right? Like with so many product companies. India, I think, was primarily known for IT and services only, where it was primarily for like only everyone calling them a software engineer. But I see now a lot of product management managers evolving, which is great. I think it will continue to be. I think world needs probably a lot of product managers out there.
Yeah, I think it's way easier now to tell that you're a product manager, and people might understand it at least on the tech side, right? Like what a product manager is. But there were days when after I explain my role for 15 minutes, people say, "Okay, is it okay? Is it a business analyst?"
It's completely different. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So let's wrap up with some key takeaways for all our viewers. Maybe Sidhu, I'll start with you. If you want to give two key takeaways for our viewers for product management and to be successful out there, what are those two?
Yeah. So to be a successful product manager, you have to be a good storyteller, rally people around your vision. So try to be that. The next thing is customer. You have to live, breathe your customer, right? You have to understand them to the core. So that's something you have to keep doing every day, irrespective whatever happens, right? So keep doing that. So these two would be the tips which I would give.
Funny, what would be your two win?
Similar, but the first one I would say is data. Drive towards gathering as much data as possible in everything you do. That would tell you a story of what you need to do next. So this data could be clicks the customer is doing on a product. This data could be all the customer feedback you're getting through your support agents or customer success managers, etc. But be a pioneer on gathering data and making insights out of that. That's the first thing I would say. And the second one is exactly customers. Like live and breathe what a customer wants. If you can do that, you're building the right products always. And if you're building the right products always, you're making your teams happy, stakeholders happy, making the business grow as exponentially as possible.
Nice. I mean, I also want to talk about customers. I mean, wearing the customer shoes is important, but just for our viewers, I'll probably give something else as well. One thing which I found was problem solving ability. So, as a product manager, it's very important to solve problems and come up with innovative solutions. And the second one would be stakeholder management. As a product manager, you work with so many different teams. You need to be very collaborative, and a good stakeholder management skill is pretty important to be successful. Um, All right. I think that's what we have for today. But and for all the viewers out there, if you guys have any more questions or seek more clarification on the product management, please don't forget to comment, and we'll get back. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Everything Product. Thank you.
Thank you.